All right, let's dive into a really dense, really fascinating piece of lore. We're talking about a cosmic being who looks at reality and doesn't just want to change it, he wants to completely shatter it. This is the story of the Crimson Judge and his all-out war on a universe that's grown lazy and stagnant. To really get a feel for what we're dealing with, just let this quote sink in. He is the storm that does not pass. Think about that for a second. This isn't some brief thunderstorm that's over in an hour. This is a permanent, fundamental change to the very weather of existence. That's the kind of being we're going to be exploring. So, here's our roadmap for today. We're going to start with the judge's absolutely wild transformation. Then we'll get into his new philosophy. After that, we'll look at the cosmic conflict that made all this possible, figure out what it takes to survive in his world, and finally, we'll see the terrifying new reality he's building. Okay, first up, the judge's ascension. This is his origin story, right? This is the tale of how a simple, passive servant of death became the one and only executioner of reality itself. You see, the Crimson Judge wasn't always this cosmic powerhouse. He actually started out as the Pale Rider. You know, a basic run-of-the-mill reaper, a passive servant of the grave. But out of that wreckage, something totally new is born, a Dionysian architect of chaos. We're talking ecstatic, reality-breaking transformation, not just quiet, predictable endings. And that new crimson color, that represents a life that is violently, actively overcoming its own death. So let's define his old job as the messenger of the void. He was basically just a cog in a huge, boring machine. He had to follow these suffocating rules called the Liturgy of Error, a cosmic system designed to keep everything stagnant, to keep everyone in their place. His job wasn't to think, it was just to reap. And this is the moment it all changed. It's called the Promethean seizure. And just like Prometheus stealing fire from the gods, he reached right into the heart of this cosmic force, the sapphire demiurge. And he didn't ask for power. He took it. He seized it. This was a pure act of will, a defiant claim on a terrifying new kind of life. So what did he become? Well, the text calls him an active nihilist made real. Now, don't get hung up on the word nihilist. This isn't about believing in nothing. Oh no, this is about looking at the old world, seeing that it's hollow and meaningless, and then taking on the duty to violently tear it all down so something new, something real, can grow in its place. I love this quote because it perfectly sums up his new role. The old gods, they just let reality drone on, getting stale. They were too scared to end the sentence. The Crimson Judge, he is that final period. He's the one with the guts to say, the story's over. Time for a new one. So this transformation wasn't just about getting a power-up. It created a whole new philosophy. This isn't just random chaos, you guys. It's all governed by a brutal new law of existence. You could call it a Nietzschean audit. First thing you have to understand, his judgment has nothing to do with good or evil. That's all out the window. He throws away what the source calls the feather of a dead morality. Instead, he measures every soul by one single terrifying thing, its own inner fire, its drive, its intensity. And there's a name for this new standard, a direct shout-out to Nietzsche, the will to power. It's a simple audit. You either have vital intensity or you don't. And if you're passive, if you're mediocre, if you're weak, you fail. And failing means you get purged, wiped from existence. And this is what he's fighting against. The Liturgy of Error. It wasn't just some dusty rulebook. It was a cosmic prison, a celestial mausoleum. Sure, it looked beautiful on the outside, but in reality, every single star was just another golden bar on a cage built for your spirit. And the way he judges you, it's as poetic as it is horrifying. When he turns that sapphire gaze on you, it's like looking into a fatal mirror. If your soul is hollow, if there's nothing there, your own reflection turns on you. It becomes the weapon that erases you. There's literally nowhere to hide from yourself. Okay, so you've got to be wondering, where did all this power and this crazy philosophy even come from? Well, let's zoom out and look at the cosmic power struggle that set the stage for all of this, the old gods versus the demiurge. So, on one side, you've got the old gods. Think of them as the architects of boredom. They built that stagnant mausoleum we talked about, and their whole goal was to keep every soul passive and obedient. But on the other side, you have the sapphire demiurge. It's not a god, it's more like a cosmic acid, a force of pure, untamed, chaotic potential. Now, the demiurge isn't an ally of the judge. It doesn't have allies. It's more like a law of nature. It just puts out this frequency, a hidden signal called the uncanny. And the judge was the one who figured out how to tune into that chaotic frequency and use it like a sonic weapon to shatter the old god's prison of glass. So, in this brutal new reality he's created, how in the world does anyone survive? This is where the huge cosmic drama gets really personal, because it all comes down to one thing: facing the trial of the mirror. And survival here isn't about hiding. It's not about fighting back. It's about total transformation. The trial of the mirror is basically a spiritual forge. You have to willingly walk into the fire, and you either get fundamentally reforged, tempered like steel, or you melt into nothing. And there's a process to it, kind of a 3-step program for cosmic survival. First, you have to accept the mark of the abyss. You have to embrace the chaos. Second, you go through a complete metamorphosis in the liquid mirror. And finally, you have to achieve the rune of the vertical ascent, which means giving up all that horizontal comfort for a terrifying climb upwards. So what happens if you actually succeed? What's the price? Well, your name is recorded in the registry of the Overmen. And this isn't just some boring list. It's a testament to a new kind of nobility. An aristocracy not based on blood or money, but on pure spirit, forged in the fires of this insane new reality. All right, last section. Let's get into the nitty-gritty of how this new world actually works. What kind of tools does the judge use to build it? And what is this new realm actually like? The judge has this whole metaphysical toolkit. He's got things like the rune of non-correspondence, which basically dissolves your identity and frees you from your past. He's got the rune of the infinite schism, which shatters reality into 1,000 contradictory mirrors. And then there's his main tool, the gavel scythe. It's not just for destroying things. It breaks apart old, dead stars to forge new possibilities. And what does all this create? The upside-down realm. Imagine a world that's a liquid mirror, where the line between you and your reflection is just gone. It's a place of reflexive lethality, meaning your reflection is probably more real and way more dangerous than you are. And in this world, history isn't about what happened in the past. It's a prophecy of what a powerful will is about to make happen next. So all of this leaves us with one last big question. In this new reality, what's the point? Is the goal to polish the mirror, to perfect your own little reflection on a static wall? Or is the point to shatter that mirror completely and dive headfirst into the terrifying absolute freedom of the abyss on the other side?